Hi guys, I'm going to talk today about bowel health. So recently my parents went to McDonald's. I mean, obviously that's not healthy, but they were talking to a lady who works there, and she was recently in hospital because her bowels exploded. So you can imagine how horrific the pain would have been for that to happen. Sadly, the lady she wasn't seen to straight away in the hospital. She was left for quite a few hours in pain, and they actually told her that she was going to die. And they had the priest come in and everything and do the, pray over and everything for her, but thankfully she survived. But I want to just talk to you about why that happened. So your bowel is like the length from head to toe, it's huge. And inside of our bowels, we store a lot of our toxins. And if we're not eliminating our bowels every single day, then those toxins will build up. So think about how many times you go to the toilet per day. We need to be going at least once a day, if not 2 to 3 times per day. It needs to be regular. So if you're not, there's going to be a backup in your system, and that will create toxic overload and can eventually poison you and even kill you. So it's really important that you eliminate your bowels daily. And also eat the right foods to help you eliminate your bowels, because if you're not eating foods such as fibre, then you aren't going to be drawing out the toxins from your body. So just think about your fibre content, how much fibre you eat per day. You need to be eating soluble fibre as well as insoluble fibre, which I wrote about in my second book. And you need to make sure that you're having fibre at every single meal. Now, there's going to be people who say to me that they have IBS or SOLUBLE, and you can't have fibre because you have problems with your gut and bloating. And that is because you have gut dysbiosis, and you need to understand how to get rid of it, which I've written about in my first book. So you can eat fibre, but you just need to learn about your bacteria and your bacterial overgrowth that you have, which is also caused by a lack of fibre. But then the other concern is how much water do you drink? Because if you're not eating enough water, then the fibre will also not be able to come out of your gut. So the reason why this lady's bowel exploded was because of her diet. From what I heard, she was really, really overweight. So she will not have been eating all of the nutritious food that she should have been to help eliminate the bowels. So your bowels, just think about, have a look at your wrist, and your wrist will tell you how big your colon is. So if you aren't eliminating your bowels, then your toxicity in that bowel will leak into your bloodstream. It's leaking into your lymphatic system, and it's basically poisoning you to death. So a lot of people might have chronic fatigue syndrome, and they also have things like migraines and just that dull feeling of mind brain fog, and just not feeling like completely with it, like your head's spaced out, and just exhaustion, you feel lethargic, those kind of feelings. It's not a nice feeling, when you haven't been to the toilet. Like, we've all been there, we've all struggled with issues, and sure, there's people on here, like you've all had constipation at some point. So think about your diet, because if you're eating too much refined sugars, processed foods, not drinking enough water, alcohol consumption as well, low fibre intake, the biggest cause of everything right now. And I have online clients who I see with their food diaries, and the question I always ask them is, how much fibre are you eating per day, and are you eating enough? And they never know whether they're eating enough fibre. They don't know what the difference is between soluble fibre and insoluble fibre. So when you go to the supermarket, I want you to think about, are you feeding your gut? Now, you've got to look at your gut as being the small intestine as well as your colon, because they're both extremely important. Your small intestine is where you absorb the maximum amount of nutrition, and you have things like leaky gut, which I wrote about in the first book, and that needs to be sealed and healed. If we all have leaky gut if you've got a chronic illness, and then your colon is where we eliminate, and it's also that estrogen. It comes into your hormone health as well, especially females with that estrogen dominance problems. Again, are you eating enough fibre? So everything is connected to our diet. Food choices are really important. You know, if you do keep eating lots of sugar, if you do keep eating lots of takeaways in McDonald's, you're not going to ever be healthy. You're not going to ever be well. You will struggle with your weight. You will struggle with your hormone health as well. Your hormones are connected to the foods that you put into your mouth. You know, we all want a quick fix with a contraceptive pill or some other kind of pill. It doesn't work that way. You have to learn about how to feed your hormones, and your hormones don't like things like sugar neither, as well as processed foods and saturated fats and all of that kind of stuff too. So think about your colon health today, guys. What are you feeding it? Are you feeding it well? Are you feeding it enough fibre? Because it does need to have fibre in order for you to go to the bathroom, and you need to go to the bathroom every single day, at least once a day, if not 2 to 3 times per day, which would be magnificent. Anyway, guys, have a beautiful day, and I wish you lots of wellness.